Smackdown started off with a bang, folks. And when I mean a bang, it was a bang. We normally see the talent making their way into the arena, getting off buses, out of cars and all this sort of stuff. But when we got to Drew McIntyre, we just saw him get ambushed by Damian Priest. It was a full-on brawl, and I cannot wait to see their steel cage match later tonight at Saturday Night Main Event. But we made our way to the ring, and Tiffy Stratton came on out, the women's champion, and she just came out. She looked at the crowd, and she ran down her accomplishments about Money in the Bank in 2 weeks' time. Someone's gonna win that briefcase, and they could cash in on me. She went through her history in the last year of her winning it, taking out Nia Jax, then going to Mania, beating Charlotte Flair, and then as she was saying that this person, whoever wins this year, is not going to be any different, it's going to be hell if they try and take the belt off of her. With this, good old Alexa Bliss came on out. She ran down her accomplishments saying, I'm basically the same version of you. I won Money in the Bank, I cashed it in, I won, I took out Charlotte Flair, and we're exactly the same. But she said in my favourite line of the entire night, and that was, you can't really feel sorry for a narcissist who calls herself a queen. That was just brilliant. And obviously, as she said this, Flair came on out, and she couldn't even get a word out because the crowd were booing that loud. And you could see it was affecting her, and it still is. And if you're a wrestler and you are a heel, as Charlotte Flair is, she'll always be a heel, she'll never be a babyface. Everyone is going to boo her. And we've seen it in the past couple of weeks where she's like, yeah, it doesn't feel right that people are booing me, I don't like it. Well, you're in this business, so that's it. But then, Tiffy said that, why are you out here? Charlotte was like, well, I'm going to win Money in the Bank, I'm going to get that belt back, and take back what's rightfully mine, the spotlight. Which Tiffy then did a mic drop moment, and she said, you're a hypocrite, because you said, whoever wins Money in the Bank and wins it that way is the easy way out. And with that, she just said, Tiffy, you, me, I want the belt back. But the best mic drop came from Tiffy. She goes, you two are vintage. I'm the upgrade. And she wooed, dropped the mic and left, which was great to see. As Tiffy made her way up the ramp and going to the back, Julia made her debut entrance, and she was taking on Charlotte Flair and also Zelina Vega for a place in the women's Money in the Bank. As we said, this was the first qualifying match of the show for these women to get a chance in the Money in the Bank match. Well, the match started off with a pace that you could see they were trying to be fast-paced, but it didn't really work out that way, and it seemed more of a fumble than actually trying to be fast and effective. The match was a run-by-numbers match, which sucks because these three women, whenever they want to do it, they can just put on a hell of a match. They would actively have to work at making a match bad. And it was interesting to see that for Julia, this was her first SmackDown debut match, which, to be honest with you, her and Zelina Vega, they did a phenomenal job in this match, and Charlotte Flair seems to be the weaker link, which is sad to say because we know that Charlotte Flair, she can put on an epic 5-star match. We know this. We've witnessed it. But with this one, it just didn't seem to be that she was bothered with it for some unknown reason, and each move she was trying to do seemed telegraphed. She reminded me a lot of John Cena when he had the 5 moves of doom, like he's going to telegraph it, he's going to do these, and that is going to be it. But Julia, she got the win, and she is now in the ladder match for a chance to win Money in the Bank, which I cannot wait to see. Next up was Chris Sabin against Ciampa, which again, it's these two guys, man. DIY, Motor City Machine Guns. Whenever these 4 guys get into the ring, it doesn't matter who they're with, they always put on a great and entertaining match, and this is exactly what it was. This match was actually a lot more technical than we are normally used to seeing from these two guys, but it was great to see that technical wrestling took over of the more high-flying stuff that we normally do see. Sabin, he did actually get a couple of high-flying spots in, and the sad thing about this is, Ciampa, we knew what he was doing. He was faking in the injury, and we thought Gargano was going to get on in and cost Sabin the match. But it wasn't, in fact, Gargano. It was his wife, Candice LeRae. She is back. She got Sabin, done the old rope tie on his neck, and Ciampa pulled down the knee pad and got the win. And it was great to see that LeRae now is back here, because there was rumours over the last couple of days that she had been released, but no one knew. Obviously, this goes against it, and we now have Ciampa, Gargano, and his wife LeRae back together. Before we got into our next match, Damian Priest was going to make his way down to the ring, but Drew McIntyre ambushed him this time, and it was just an all-out brawl. It was actually really, really fun, and like I said, I cannot wait to see these two go against each other tonight on Saturday Night Main Event in a steel cage match. It's going to be a great match, I know for a fact, and it could possibly be one of the matches of the year. Last year, look what Drew McIntyre did with CM Punk in Hell in a Cell. That was possibly the greatest match of last year. It was so good. But seeing these two, you know, you did have Priest in the ring. He was taken away by the guards and the backstage officials, but he took out them and he said, let's just keep doing it. And him and Drew, obviously, as his photo shows, they just kept going at it, and it was just great to see. Our next match was the Secret Service taking on B-Fab and Michin. Now, this match was actually made official before our last match of Ciampa and Chris Sabin. That's because Zelina Vega was walking backstage and Chelsea Green and the Secret Service ambushed her. So Michin and B-Fab got in and they were like, no, we gotta help. This is it now, we want to take out them. And Nick Aldis like, yeah, great, next match, go for it. Which was great to see. It was actually a really fun little match, and it was over much quicker than it should have been as well. Piper and Fire, they just took control of the majority of the match, and they did some great double team moves. But Michin and B-Fab, they got the win after performing both of their finishes on Piper, and they got the win. Next up, we had the team of Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo taking on Rey Fenix and Big Jimmy Uso. Now, this was a very interesting match because it wasn't about the people involved or the teams who they were facing. This was done to make sure everyone knows that Jacob Fatu and JC do not get along. Before we had this, they were there like, he's not family, he's not blood, I don't know him, I do not trust him. And with that, obviously, this entire match just shouted, we're going to get a feud between Jacob and this JC, and it's going to be a good feud. I can tell that right now, because JC Cobb, as we still call him, the moves he did in this match for a guy his size, he shouldn't be able to pull that off, but he pulls it off with ease and he makes it look awesome. But obviously, Rey Fenix, Big Jim, they both held their own, and it was kind of sad because JC hit the finisher on Jimmy to get the 1-2-3, but obviously, like we said, this is done just to make out that Jacob Fatu, JC Mateo do not like each other, and Solo Sikoa will more than likely have to choose who he's going to go with, and he's going to go with JC. That's the way this seems to be planning out, and it'll probably be Jacob Fatu against JC Mateo for the US Championship, and Solo Sikoa will probably get JC to win it by screwing over Jacob. Next up was the greatest wrestling superstar of all time, folks. R-Truth came out and got on the mic and he talked about his match with John Cena, which is happening this evening on Saturday Night Main Event. I absolutely love that Truth is now getting the spotlight. It seems to be that it's been quite a long period of time since we haven't actually had R-Truth on the mic or even involved in matches. You know, we've seen the backstage segments where he's making everyone laugh, Cody Rhodes and everything else. But with this though, I really do hope that his match with Cena is not going to be a squash match, because if it is, that's just going to be a waste of potential in my eyes. Because if you have R-Truth actually going to win this match, you know, if you think about it, when you got R-Truth, you got John Cena, R-Truth taking on his childhood hero, and what he said last week where he's going to beat the Sens back into John Cena, well, for all we know, R-Truth could make it look like he's going to win the belt, but obviously at the very last minute, after 15 or 20 minutes, say, John Cena screws him over, and that could be good. But I really hope they don't make it a squash match. I really hope so. We then had our men's qualifying match for Money in the Bank, which was LA Knight taking on Shinsuke Nakamura and also taking on Aleister Black. Now, this was actually a really good little fun match, and I really wished it went on a bit longer, because these three, they were putting on such a banger, and it was like, come on, we need to see who's going to win this, you know, because this is actually from the start where you didn't really know who was going to win, you know, because you got three great talents, three great big talents at this moment. Obviously, you got LA Knight, who's coming off his feud for the US Championship and everything else. Aleister Black has really just come back to the WWE, so he's hot. But then you got Shinsuke Nakamura, who it's almost like they don't know what to do with him, because he is just so unique and he's one of the most talented wrestlers ever. It's like, right, okay, we can put him in with these two. The match did seem to be more LA Knight and Aleister Black sort of thing, to see how these two would mesh together. And Shinsuke was just put in there, let's see how they do against a third member. And it was actually, like I say, it was a really good match. But overall though, Knight got the win after hitting the BFT on Shinsuke Nakamura, and he is now going to Money in the Bank. Now we got into the main event of the show, folks. Fraxium taking on the Street Profits for the Tag Team Championships. For me, this was better than their last encounter when they had the match, which was absolutely phenomenal, but this one just seemed to go even higher than what they did. It was absolutely brilliant. It was such a great match. This has actually taken over my match of the week from AJ and Penta on Raw when they faced off Judgment Day, Finn Balor and McDonough, but this was just absolutely phenomenal. It was such a great match. We had it all. You know, the high-flying spots by Fraxium, Ford kept up with the speed and agility of him, and Dawkins was just awesome anywhere he was. But then we did have DIY come on out, and then we had Motor City Machine Guns come out to even the scores so they didn't get involved. But then it happened. The lights went off, folks. And when they came back on, the Wyatt Six were here. And for me, this, I don't know why, just seeing them, I was like, oh my god. It was like just such a strong thing of emotion, and I think that is because of what happened later on as well, because they did acknowledge it. But with this, I didn't even care that it ended in a no contest, because the way the Wyatt Six just came out and destroyed everyone was incredible. But like I said, this is the part right by here where, oh, I'm gonna just bring the up for you. They had a birthday cake in the middle of the ring with one candle. And with this, Uncle Howdy, obviously, Bo Dallas, he looked up to the heavens and he said, "This is for you, brother, my life for you." And he blew out the candle. As yesterday, it would have been Bray Wyatt's 38th birthday. And seeing this, it was special, you know? And I think it's nice because they acknowledged it as well. And obviously, we haven't seen the Wyatt Six since January, since they got traded over to SmackDown. But with this, though, it was just fantastic. And seeing that they are the ones who ended the show, they showed that, obviously, the entire crowd, lights on, the fireflies, the entire stadium was just lit up. It looked incredible. And with this, a SmackDown was a great and solid show. Another 8.3 for this week for me out of 10. But with this, though, it wouldn't surprise me if Alexa Bliss comes back with these next week or the week after or whatever, and she becomes the co-leader with Uncle Howdy. Because obviously it was Bray Wyatt and her beforehand who started it all. And I'm really, really looking forward to how this progresses. But tonight, guys, is Saturday night main event, so I will be back tomorrow with my video on it. So like and subscribe, folks, and I'll see you at main event.